You are my strength like no other, strength like no other, and it reaches to me. You are my strength like no other, strength like no other, and it reaches to me. Hey, in the fullness of your grace, in the power of your name, you lift me up. You lift me up. Hey, in the fullness of your grace, in the power of your name, you lift me up. You lift me up. Can you turn it off for me, honey? You are my joy, joy like no other. Had to be able to put on silent. Joy like no other, and it reaches to me. Good morning. How's everybody doing? You are my joy, joy like no other, joy like no other, God, and it reaches to me. Hey, in the fullness of your grace, in the power of your name, you lift me up. You lift me up. Hey, in the fullness of your grace, in the power of your name, you lift me up. You lift me up. You are my peace. Hello, everybody. Greetings from beautiful Honolulu, Hawaii. Peace like no other. Peace like no other. And it reaches to me. Hallelujah, everybody. How to the late, to the Lou, to the yeah. And also aloha. Aloha from beautiful Waikiki Beach, Honolulu, Hawaii. And today we're going to be talking about this idea. That's the idea of how to, you better use it, baby, before you lose it. All right. And how to maximize your capacity. So, good morning, Ken. I hope you're having a wonderful day. Good morning to you. Shonda, hope you're having a beautiful day. Ron, good morning to you. Good morning to you, Barbara. Hope everybody's having a beautiful, wonderful, phenomenal day. And what a beautiful, who just turned the fan on? I don't know how this came on from nowhere. It must be on a timer. It turned off and it give me a cold. Yeah, is this it? That do it. Damn, I think they got it. Felt good, huh? I just don't want to be coughing and gagging in y'all face for however long it is that we're talking. Proverbs 4. That's a cool name to have, Proverbs 4. Okay, so let's get straight into the lesson today. So the lesson today is about use it or lose it, how to maximize your capacity. And I want you to understand there's a big difference between capacity and potential. Most people think they're the same thing. They say, are you reaching your potential, and are you living up to your capacity? So the reason how did this come back on again? I'm sure I just turned it off. What's going on? I just got a mind of his own. Just turn on his own. Okay. So you might hear kids in the background because all the grandkids and everybody, we all here in this Airbnb in the mountains in Hawaii. So you might hear a kid come running up here, hey, Grandpa, right in the middle of the live or whatever. It is what it is, okay? Because it's the holidays, all right? So we're having a holiday, we're having fun. You know what I'm saying? So let's talk today about your capacity. How you doing, Queen Victory? So let's talk today about reaching our capacity. I really don't understand why these fans keep coming back on, baby. I keep turning them off, and they keep coming back on. They got a mind of their own, and I'm gonna get sick if I sit in front of these fans. You think you fixed it for me? Thank you, sweetie. All right. That's my daughter, Shannon, the dancer. All right. I wonder why she's the greatest dancer. Yes, you are. They can't see you. Okay. I mean, you come over here and say hi if you want to. I don't think nobody ever met you. I know I got these bashful kids. Yeah, I don't get it, actually. I understand. So, I don't know why this thing keep coming on. They're trying to kill me, man. I got my Don Ho shirt on. You know what I'm saying? I got my Aloha shirt on. Yeah, okay, thanks, baby. You got it. I don't know why I keep just popping right back up. I'd be sick as a mess sitting up under there. Mm-hmm. All right. Okay, so we're gonna talk today about thank you, Ashley. Appreciate you. All right, so we're gonna talk today about reaching your capacity. Well, not or maximizing your capacity, I should say. Okay, so you say, what's the difference between capacity and potential, Brother Rick? Well, potential is something that you'll never reach until you die and go to heaven. That's when you reach your potential. Why? Because potential is on the other side of the grave. Potential is what we're aiming at. Okay, capacity is what we have control over. See, your potential is beyond you and beyond me. Capacity is what we have control over. We can increase and maximize the use of our capacity. What is capacity? Capacity is our ability to be able to do something. So capacity, ability, they're the same two words. So in order to maximize it, there's some things that we need to do though. First of all, we need to understand that potential and capacity are two different things, because people say, man, you ain't reaching your potential. I'm like, man, well, I do want to reach my potential, but when I reach it, you won't see me. Why? Because I'll be dead. I'll be gone. I'll be on the other side of the grave. Potential is something that you pursue beyond this life. Okay, are you hearing me? Why? Because people think they arrived because so we're in Hawaii right now. Okay, we're in a mountain. And if I just took the camera around and showed y'all what's going on, you'd be like, Lord, have mercy, brother. And that must be close to heaven as you can get before you get there. And that's why they call it paradise, because it looks like some type of paradise. But it ain't my potential. Why? Because if it was my potential, this life would be over with. Because there is something that we haven't seen that's way more amazing than anything that we can see. Why? Because the Bible says, I have not seen, ear have not heard, neither has it even entered into the heart of man the good things that God's prepared for them that love him, but he has revealed it unto us through his spirit. So what? Capacity means that I'm going to make the most out of the life that I got, that's here on earth, in this kingdom that's here on earth. I'm going to make the most out of this life. I'm going to squeeze this lemon for everything I can get. How about you? Is that your goal? See, because if you think you can reach your potential right now, you're going to get to a point where you think you've arrived. And you're going to think, man, I made it. And ain't no such thing as making it. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Why? Because every day we wake up, we got more that we can learn. We got more. We can increase our ability every single day. And the day that a human being wakes up and think they've arrived is the day they need to go back, get on their knees, and get their shenanigans together. Because that is not reality. Reality is that we are always evolving, always learning, always getting better, always doing what? Purposefully, intentionally increasing and compounding our capacity, meaning our current ability. So write it down, okay? Your capacity is your current ability. Your potential is where you're headed. Once you reach your potential, you will shut your eyes for the last time on this side of the grave, all right? So that's okay to be reaching and pressing towards the mark. But in the meantime, are you doing the way that you press towards the mark is by getting the most out of what you currently have, squeezing that Charmin, squeeze that Charmin, all right, and get everything out of it that you possibly can. All right, so let's talk about how do you maximize your potential and how do you get the most out of your current ability. Well, the first thing you have to do is you're gonna have to learn how to commit to some counsel. Why is that? It's because you have, and I have, we all have, the only way that we're gonna ever reach or squeeze the most out of us that we currently have is that we have to even know what we currently have. All right. So you can't hear that. You might need to go out and come back in. So just go off and come back in, Queen Victory, if you can't hear. Go off and come back. Okay. Or just switch over to Facebook or whatever we're doing over here at YouTube over here. Okay. So you say, Brother Rick, I want to be all I can possibly be. Good, because I do too. So we all agree with that. All right. We all agree that we want to be all that we can possibly be. If you agree with that, if you want to be all you can possibly be, just put a 1 in the chat. All right. If that's your aim, are you aiming at being all you can possibly be? I mean, are you aiming at maximizing your capacity, your ability to be able to do something? If that's you, put a 1 in the chat and start speaking to yourself while we're talking throughout this lesson. Okay. All right. So I'm sure we all agree with that we want to be like top grade at whatever it is that we're doing. Top grade at whatever. Top grade. We want to be as amazingly productive. I'm sure we all agree with that. All right. So we all agree with that. All right. Okay. So good. So the first thing we have to do to become amazingly productive is that we have to commit to counsel. Why? Because our capacity, what's inside of us, we don't see it. You say, what are you saying, Brother Ricky? I'm saying that we do not see. I'll take him downstairs, baby. Braden. Y'all got to go downstairs till I finish, son. Okay? Till I finish the live. Braden here, right? He'll jump clear out the window. And be down in the mountains in a second if you want to watch. All right. Braden, son. Okay. Downstairs, son. Okay. Braden, downstairs, son. Yeah, downstairs, son. Until we finish with this live, son. Okay. All right. So hey, Denise, how you doing, dear? God bless you. So here's the idea. Capacity, you have a lot inside of you, and I have a lot inside of me that I'm not aware of. You have a lot inside of you. Love you, son. So you have a lot inside of you. I have a lot inside of me that I'm not aware of. And the only way I'm going to become aware of it is I have to commit to some counsel to be able to get it out. You said, no, that's not true, Brother Ricky. Oh, yes, it is. I'm going to prove it to you in the Bible that you don't even know your capacity. You don't even know what you were capable of. I mean, and it's impossible for you to know by yourself. You say, why is that, Ricky? It's because the way God made us. God made us so that we don't have no choice, but to interact, to do what? To maximize our capacity. Because we cannot see some things about ourselves that are absolutely amazing and we have some amazing ability that we just not familiar with. We just don't know what we don't know. So in order to increase or to maximize our capacity, then the first thing we got to do is we got to commit to counsel. So watch this. Here's a woman in the Bible in 2 Kings chapter 4, and watch this woman's life. And she has some trouble that she's going through, and she already has the ability, the capability, the capacity inside of her to be able to answer her own problems, but she don't realize it. Okay, so watch what happens when she commits herself to some counsel. It says, now there cried a certain woman of the wives of the sons of the prophets unto Elisha, saying, thy servant my husband is dead, and thou knowest that thy servant did fear the Lord, and the creditor is come to take unto him my 2 sons to be bondmen. And Elisha said unto her, what shall I do for thee? Tell me, what hast thou in the house? And she said, thine handmaid have not anything in the house save a pot of oil. Okay, so Elisha said, what is your ability, your current ability? What do you currently have in the house? And she said, she said, I got a pot of oil. She said, matter of fact, I ain't got nothing in the house but a pot of oil. So the way that she looked at her capacity was as though it was her low capacity. In other words, she looked at what she had to work with as being insignificant and not being much. So because she had that attitude about what she was working with, somebody had to come along and let her know that, oh, you already got enough right now. That your current capacity, you can use what you currently have to be able to increase what you currently have to be able to take care of all your current problems. Are you hearing? Let me run it by you one more time. This is why you have to commit to counsel. Because when you commit to counsel, a person comes in and they see you in this emotional state that you're in. Why? Because when you're in the middle of something, you're emotionally in that state. So you cannot see your capacity. You have it, but you cannot see it. Why? Because you're too emotionally involved in whatever the drama is in your life. Are you hearing me? Me too, all of us. Okay? That's why you have to commit to counsel. because the Bible says in a multitude of counselors, there's safety. And in a multitude of counselors, there's reality too, because we have a tendency to drift off into a fantasy world when we get up under pressure. And we thinking, man, I'm up under pressure, things don't look good. And we cannot think straight until somebody comes along and says, you know what do you have to work with? And then you start thinking and you start evaluating things and you start saying, okay, all right, oh, what do I have to work with? And then they show you what you have to work with. Now you're in a position where you can start working yourself about whatever that situation is, because what? You committed to a counselor. So he said, what do you have in the house? She said, I don't know. I ain't got nothing but a pot of oil. So number one is you got to commit to counsel. Number two, you have to analyze your assets, okay? Because you have assets. You have current assets that you have what? Not analyzed, because why? You're too emotionally involved in whatever your drama is. I mean, we all got drama. Okay, we all got issues. Some of us, like Sports Illustrated, we got 52 issues a year. All right, every human being, nobody is walking around here without no issues. Nobody is walking around here without no trouble. Nobody is walking around here without precarious situations taking place. However, there is safety in committing to a counsel and committing to counsel, number one. And then number two, what'll happen is in the middle of the counsel, you'll be able to analyze your assets. Because you, my brother, you, my sister, have amazing capacity right now. You got amazing ability right now. Chances are, if you're not where you want to be and not headed towards where you want to go, chances are is that you just have not analyzed your assets. You haven't evaluated your assets. Why? Because you don't look at them like an asset. You look at them like an afterthought. Your assets, your capacity right now, if you're not making it, if you're not headed in the direction that you want to go in, your capacity right now in your mind is an afterthought. But in reality, it's your major asset. And all you got to do is start using it. And if you don't use it, baby, you're going to lose it. Now, you pick it up what I'm putting down. That's the message today. Either use it or lose it. But the reason people lose the assets that they have is because they don't analyze them. And the reason they don't analyze them is because they haven't committed to any counsel. So because nobody is talking to you, you're in a cocoon. And when you're in a cocoon, you're an emotional wreck. What they call them, a hot mess. It's a hot mess around here. You dig what I'm saying? Why? Because I'm analyzing my own situation without the help of counsel. So when counsel comes along, the counselor help point out to you what you even ought to be analyzing. Are you hearing what I'm saying? All right? Because quite often we analyzing stuff that ain't got nothing to do with solving our problem. All right? Because we're not analyzing our assets. We often analyze on what's causing what our trouble is. You don't analyze the trouble, you analyze your assets. Are you hearing what I'm telling you? How do I know that to be a fact? Well, because I'm a wealth coach. And one of my major questions I ask people when I'm a wealth coach is, how much money do you want? And most of the time, people cannot answer that question. So I say, what do you want in life? Most of the time, people cannot answer that question. You know what they start telling me? They start telling me what they don't have and what they don't want. I'm like, that ain't even a question I asked you. I asked you, what do you want and what do you have? And I'm telling you, people, it's hard for a person to analyze what they got because they don't think as much. They think it's insignificant. They don't see the role that it plays in their financial turnaround or in their life turnaround, any kind of turnaround, okay? They don't see what role it plays. So I stopped by here to tell you this afternoon from the beautiful mountains of Honolulu, Hawaii, that you have amazing assets no matter where you are right now if you're using. You say, how do I know that? Why? Because I wasn't born on no mountain in Hawaii. All right. I was born on the west side of Chicago. And first time I ever got robbed, I was 4 years old. All right. And when I came to where I live at in Indianapolis, Indiana, right now, I only had $50, in a hotel room, as far as what you could see monetarily and all material stuff and all of that. But I had some amazing assets. Okay. One of my assets was what? I was always willing to be nice and kind to somebody. That's an amazing asset. Are you hearing me? I'm telling you right now, I was willing to be nice and kind to somebody. So just being nice and kind to somebody, I just spoke to a man because it's just the right thing to do. Just sitting down eating some food at Burger King. And a young man comes by and we start talking. Next thing you know, I'm living at his house. I go from being homeless to living in a house rent free because he wouldn't even accept no money. He's like, man, I don't want your money. He said, go to school with your money, Ricky. I already paid my bills. But what I'm telling you is that when you get together with counsel, when you get together and sit down and talk to somebody, when you commit yourself to counsel, amazing things happen. And then you start analyzing what you got and realizing that what you have is extremely powerful because you were created amazingly powerful. All right. Are you listening to me? You have amazing power right now within your grasp right now. So don't start sitting around talking about what you ain't got. Focus on what you do have, because if you don't use it, you're going to lose it. All right. Another asset that I had was being able to sing. So you say, what, you start singing and making records, Rick? No, I started going around singing to people who was in hospital, singing to people that's locked up, singing to people who, somebody got murdered in their family. We had something called drive-by prayer that we used to do. We used to drive by where people been murdered at and get out and sing. What, to their family members who came by who all messed up. Of course you messed up. 2 weeks ago, life was good. And then you come in a crib and your daughter laying in a puddle of blood, or your son laying in a puddle of blood, or your mama laying in a puddle of blood. Man, it don't get no more creepy than that. You hear what I'm saying? So what? I'm like, the least I can do is what? Show up to the scene where everything is taking place. And I was glad that, the people that I went to church with, that they had that kind of mind to even care about people that much, where they would go do something like that. So I'm like, I'm gonna use my asset to do what? Increase my capacity to do what? Be able to crusade. Because the whole point of increasing your capacity is because you are a crusader. I mean, that you have a crusade that you're on. You have a cause that you're on in your life. Are you hearing me? I know you do. I know you do. And I know your cause mean a lot to you too. So in order for you to be able to increase your capacity to what? Carry out your cause, that means you're going to have to commit yourself to some counsel and then analyze your assets. Are you digging what I'm saying? Okay. So those are just a few assets that I had. And because of using those assets freely, not for no money or nothing, just using the assets that I had to make sure that I could just make somebody else feel better, because at least I wasn't in their trouble. One thing led to another, led to another, led to another. And now I go from being homeless to being able to live anywhere in the world I want to live. All right. Why? Because I work with what I had. Because you can't work with what you don't have, but you can absolutely work with what you do have. And this is our issue. Okay, I'm listening to you. This is our challenge. Our challenge is that we don't recognize what we have, so we don't use it, and then we complain about what we ain't got. And I'm telling you, that's a recipe for disaster right there. Why? Because if you don't use it, you're gonna lose it. And people who don't use what they got are chronic complainers. They complaining about what they don't have. I'm like, but look at all of what you do have. You're not using what you got. So why in the world would what? God increase your capacity and you ain't even using the capacity that you already have? Because the way that capacity is increased is using the capacity that you already have, and your capacity is not your potential. Your capacity is your current ability to be able to do something, which means that that's why God said God resists the proud, but he gives grace to the humble. Why? Because humble people always want to do what? Always want to increase our capacity. We know we have not arrived. We don't ever think we all that in a bag of chips. We like, man, I got so much improvement I need. Come on, man. Come on, let's snap out of it, all right? And that should be all of our prayer. When Jabez said, Lord, enlarge my territory, what he was really saying was, Lord, increase my capacity. Compound my capacity. Help me, Lord, to do what? To be able to get the most out of what I got to work with. Why? Because I can't work with what I don't have. That means I got to work with all I do have. Are you listening to me? Why? Because your capacity right now is still what? It's still fallible. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Your current capacity is fallible. It's not perfect. Okay, so that means that you can't afford to be given less than what your absolute best is, because your best still need what? Still need some improvement. Are you hearing what I'm saying? So it's nowhere in the world you can afford to have, $100, and what you're buying is worth, $1,000. And you say, you know what? I'm going to try to see if I can get this thing for $50 and then do what? You end up losing out on $1,000 because while you was contemplating giving up your $100, somebody else came along and got your $1,000 reward that you should have got. Why? Because you was too busy trying to give less than the capacity that you already have. That's why it's very important when you meet people and you're paying for things that you not try to get discounts. That's very important. You said, Ricky, I'm always looking for a discount. Well, you're looking for the wrong dude, because I don't give out discounts. When people start asking me for discounts, I know that their mind ain't right. So I'm like, me and you are not a good match. Why? Because you're not looking for the right thing. Okay. You're trying to do what? You're trying to give less than what you're capable of giving. And then you want what? You want all of me and all my energy and all. Well, that's not an equitable deal. So why? So I charge people what they worth, so I can give them what they deserve. So I can help them do what? Reach their full capacity. I'm talking about increase their capacity, because there is no such thing as a full capacity, because your capacity is increasing every day. So I take that statement back. We hear people say that, but that's not an accurate statement, because you don't reach your full capacity until you're dead. Your full capacity, when your full capacity is reached, all right, well, I take that back, because some people die and they never even increased their capacity. Let me put it to you this way. Your full capacity is what you are capable of doing right now. Let me just put it that way, right? X everything else. All right, let me give it to you. Because he was teaching me this lesson over the last 2 days, because when you get into these mountains, God really started. I taught my kids this yesterday, and my grandkids this. All right. So I'm teaching you this for the first time. Okay, so this idea is that I want to make sure that we are doing our absolute best. So in order to be able to do that, we got to let somebody come in and show us what we can't see, because we just can't see what our absolute best is, because we too wrapped up, tied up, and tangled up in our world. So somebody has to come along and see from the outside what's going on with us. And that's why it's very important to have counselors. That's why the Bible says, in a multitude of counselors, there's safety. All right. And because you just can't see your blind spots, and I can't see them either. So when you invite people in, you really are opening up the opportunity to increase your capacity. All right. So the first thing he told this young lady to do, he said, well, analyze what you have. So you analyze your assets, and then let's see what happened next. All right. So she analyzed the assets, and let's see what happened, because she did what he told her to do. So he said, go borrow the vessels abroad of all thy neighbors. He said, even empty vessels, borrow not a few. Wow. Why would he tell her to do something like that? He said, go borrow as much as you can. He said, not a few. He said, get your hands on every dollar you can get your hands on. Now, why would he tell her that? I mean, does that make any sense to somebody that's already poor, broke, in a state coming to get your kids? Does that even make any sense? That sounds like that sounds harsh. That sounds unreasonable. That doesn't sound like it's going to increase a person's capacity. That sounds like it's about to decrease a person's capacity, because it sounds like what Elisha is telling this woman is to go into further debt. How in the world am I going to increase my capacity? I'm already in debt. And you want me to go into further debt? The average person would be like, that just don't make sense, and I'm not going to do that. All right, so let's hear Elisha out. Let's see why is this counsel so good? Why does it make so much sense? Why is it even recorded in the Bible? Because it's not going to be recorded in the Bible if it's some foolishness and don't work. It's only recorded in the Bible because it absolutely positively works 100% of the time. All right, because the Bible is a Bible of truth, and truth never changes. You say, what do you mean by that, Brother Ricky? Well, it's just like this. What's true, it changes, but what's truth, it never changes. You say, what's the difference? Why? Because right now it's 8:30 a.m. in Hawaii. Okay, so that's true, but that's not the truth. Why? Because if you live on the East Coast, it's 1:30 in the afternoon. If you're in the East Coast, if you live in the Midwest, then it's 12:30 noon where you are. So what's true for what's going on here and right here is not true for what's going on with you. If you're on the East Coast like Queen Victory is right now, I don't know if you're on the East Coast, sis. I don't know what your weather is today, but I doubt seriously if it's. I'm not saying this to be no player hater, because my sister, I love you, I ain't like that. But I'm just making a point. So, but I know it's not 80 degrees. See, it's 80 degrees right here. All right. Aloha. All right. That's why I came on purpose, because I'm old. I have to take iron pills. You dig what I'm saying? I'm 61. Catherine, I have to take iron pills. Are you hearing what I'm saying? You say it's raining down there, Queen Victory. But you get my point. My point is, what's true about what's going on in New York is not what's true about what's going on in Hawaii. Okay. But the truth is that God cannot lie. The truth is that God ain't never told a lie. And the truth is that God ain't even capable of lying. And the truth is that God ain't gonna never tell a lie. So when God writes stuff in the Bible and he puts stuff into the scriptures, he puts it in here to let us know that if you follow this, you will have the same results. Why? Because it's the truth, and the truth always happens the way the truth happens, because the truth is unchangeable. It's immutable. It cannot be changed. That's why I believe in Bible scriptures. That's why I believe in what? That's why I believe in Bible principles. That's how I went from being homeless to being a multimillionaire, practicing Bible principles, because they always work. It's the truth. And the truth, it don't need no help. I'm telling you, the truth is just good all by itself. I told y'all about my brother, how he told me about the story of a truth and a lie, and how a truth and a lie went skinny dipping, and while they was getting dressed, the lie stole the truth clothes. And you know how the lie went down the street and ran down the street into a bar with a whole bunch of other lies and started doing what? Fronting and everything, talking about what he did. And right in the middle of all of that shenanigans, somebody say, hey man, tapped him on the shoulder and say, look who's coming down the street. He said, what's that? He said, the naked truth. Why? Because the truth don't need no clothes. So when you do what? Do the truth, then you have the truth's results 100% of the time. So that's why I don't ever worry about luck. I don't ever worry about luck. I don't ever worry about maybe this is going to work out and maybe that's going to work out. I know that my capacity, that if I use my capacity, if I increase my capacity, I have to have an abundant life. I know it. How about you? Do you believe that? I said, do you believe that? I said, if you believe that, put an A in the chat for abundant. All right, come on, let's see if y'all, and Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays to everybody. Put an A in the chat for abundant. If you believe that when you carry out a truthful principle, that abundance, you have to have an abundant life. If you believe it, put an A in the chat for abundant. All right, because be it to you according to your faith. All right, be it unto you according to what you believe. All right, I'm just telling you what I believe in. And I'm telling you the amazing results that I've seen happen in my life. Why? Because I believe this stuff. I believe it like I got a nose on my face. All right. I believe it more than I believe I got a nose on my face. How about you? All right. So this woman, she has a high level of belief in this counsel that she's getting from Elisha, because she goes ahead on and she does it. But why would Elisha tell this woman to go borrow all the money she can get? And she was already broke. Well, that's because to increase your capacity, everybody write this third thing down. All right. Number one, you got to commit to a counselor. Number two, you got to analyze your assets. All right. And then number three, you got to increase your income to increase your capacity. You say your income. Yes. I'm talking about you got to have more coming in to increase your capacity. Are you hearing what I'm telling you? But see, this is what people don't get. People don't get how much income did I have today? All right. How much came in, before the day even started? What was I doing yesterday that when the day starts and the clock ting hits 12 and the day starts for this calendar day, how much income is coming into me? All right. Now I'm talking about money this time, but you could be talking about knowledge, understanding. See, your capacity is based on what you let in. Are you hearing what I'm telling you? And I'm amazed at people who are so defensive about letting things in. I'm like, how are you going to increase your capacity? If you got these tight butt cheeks, that's what. All right. If you're standing up here all defensive, that kind of posture is dangerous posture. Why? Because can't nothing get in. Are you hearing what I'm telling you? A mind is just like a parachute. Baby, it ain't no good unless it's open. Are you hearing what I'm telling you? What? You just get up 30,000 feet up in the air. We was just up 38,000 feet, flying over all that water. Thank God we didn't have to jump out with no parachutes. All right. But let's just say you up there. All right. And the pilot say, all right, everybody got to go. All right. And you dive out and your parachute won't open up. Timber, wake up in the upper room. Why? Because a parachute ain't no good unless it's able to open. Because if it doesn't open up, then you're going to have a plunge to a sure death. Why? Because the parachute is what saves your life. Your mind, if it won't open up, it's just like being 38,000 feet up in the air and jumping out based on luck and hope and wishing that what? That you don't die on your way down. The air probably kill you on your way down before you can even hit the ground. Probably suffocate from all the air. Are you digging what I'm telling you? So what's my point? My point is that in order for you to have your capacity to increase, then your income got to increase. What comes into your mind, what comes into your spirit, and what comes into your bank account. All right. In order for you to have some increase, you got to have what? I mean, some expansion of your capacity. You got to let stuff in. So that's why people who multi-billion dollar companies, that's why they have so much money, because they do what? They raise capital on a regular basis. Are you hearing what I'm telling you? Why? Because all they're concerned about is being able to service debt. That's all they're concerned about. Why? They spend their days creatively creating capital so that they can have debt that they can serve. You say, I don't know what you're talking about, Brother Ricky. I'm talking about they realize that what? For us to have more income, we need more debt. You say, oh, lost me now, Brother Ricky. I was down with that capacity thing till he started saying that. That's because you haven't committed to counsel. That's why I told you the first thing you have to do is you have to commit yourself to counsel. Because what we teach you about money is what you don't know about money. All right? And what you don't know about money is why you don't have much. You say, Ricky, are you mocking me? No, I'm not mocking you. I'm telling you that in a multitude of counselors, there's safety, and that's why you need somebody to counsel you. You say, Brother Rick, that's a great sales presentation right there. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about in general, because I might not be the person to counsel you, because I'm a very frank person, and sensitive people, we don't get along. Why? Because they want me to pat them on the back and trying to make them feel good and all that sort of thing. I'm like, look, player, we gone. We up out of here. All right. We done left you while you sitting around contemplating what to do. We done made another 15 moves, and we don't need your validation to be making no money moves. Okay. Why? Because we already rich. That's how we got rich, listening to people, letting people do what? Tell us what to do, because we didn't know what we was doing. So what we do, we let somebody counsel us. This woman don't know what she's doing. This woman is in trouble. Are you hearing me? They coming to get her kids, and she ain't got no time to be sitting around talking back to Elisha. Elisha's telling her what to do. Notice he ain't asking her. He telling her what to do. He said, look, you go borrow all the pots you can if you want to. Elisha said, listen, you need to raise some capital. All right. He said, why? Because you only have one pot in the house right now. You're not going to get rich off of that one pot. He said, so go borrow all the pots you can. Why? He said, because you need to set yourself up for some more income to come in. So the borrowing, write it down, ain't nothing but a setup. Stop looking at borrowing money like you some type of idiot, or like you slow, or like it's going to end up making you broke. Stop with the shenanigans, okay? Cut it out. Take counsel from millionaires and multimillionaires and let them tell you what to do, okay? Why? Because they're going to counsel you different from what you've been doing, so you get a different result. So the whole idea is to increase your capacity. See, we're not trying to manipulate you and get your money, all right? The reason we give you counsel is because we want you to be better, to do better, to increase your ability to be able to create money for you and for your family. That's our motive. Our motive is not like the motives of people who do what? Who raise capital at your demise. See, the banks and everything, they raise capital because they raise capital from you. Because every time you walk in and make a bank deposit, it ain't nothing but the raising of some capital by the bank. So the bank, and while we're on this subject, tomorrow I'll be talking to you all about how to barter with the bank. But it won't be here. You have to come over to my private class, okay? My private master class on bartering with the bank. That's the 28th of December as we speak here, and it's at 1 p.m. Eastern, okay? Because that's 8 o'clock Hawaii time. So I'll be up at 8 o'clock. So 1 p.m. Eastern. If you want to come, if you're on Instagram, send a direct message to Rick the Wealth Coach on Instagram. Make sure you send it to the right one, okay? If somebody calls you and say that they are Rick the Wealth Coach and would you like to buy some cryptocurrency, that is not me. Okay, that's some perpetrating frauds. You know I'm not Jamaican. Okay, use some common sense. Just because I got a Hawaii shirt on don't make me Hawaiian. You did, Claire? We just here for a little bit. All right. So if somebody call you talking about, hey, how you doing, man? Yeah, man. Yeah, listen, man. Okay, I'm calling. This is Rick, the Wealth Coach. Okay, I'm working with Rick, the Wealth Coach, man. Yeah, you want some coconut water? Okay, all right, man. Okay, listen. Okay, send me over all your money. All right, and we will give you cryptocurrency. We'll give you good ideas over here, man. All right, okay. Little coconut water, and let me lick your forehead on the way out, sucker. That is not me. All right, y'all know I don't ask nobody for no money. And y'all been listening to me talking live for 5-6 years. I'm like, come on, don't be so naive. All right. You know, they make up fake pages for people. Why? Because they some bums, they some busters. They greedy. What? They selfish. What? They crooks. So they make up the pages and they make it look like they make your page look like it's their page. That's why when you look up, you see 6 Myron Goldens and 6 Rick the Wealth Coaches and 6 this person and 6 that person. Them people other folks don't exist. All right. So make sure that you don't G for that. All right. Because they've been getting my friends. Somebody calls me invariably on hey man, somebody called me talking about they was you. I'm like, they ain't me, man. You know that. What you say, Diva? You said, I know I got a bad Jamaican accent. I was just trying, Mom. I know I was just trying. You say that accent is big. Yeah, you're right. Because it is intoxicating. People love, like you, but you ain't in Jamaica. All right. Okay. My sister, she Jamaican, but you ain't in Jamaica, and that's game. I'm telling you right now, don't G for it. All right, they crooks. They make me sick to my stomach. I just wish I could reach through and grab one of them and give my Holy Ghost whooping. You dig? So so I laughed though because just to keep from being so vexed, because it's very vexing to see lazy bums don't want to work and want to watch somebody else work, and then they ride on your work, stuff like that. Stick up artists. Okay, so they threw me off. All right. So the raising of capital, that's what I was talking about. So Elisha tells this woman, in order to increase your capacity, in order to compound your capacity, you're going to have to do what? You're going to have to increase your income, because you only got one pot. He says, so go borrow all the pots you can, not a handful, but go borrow as many as you can. This is a major wealth principle here. All right. And this principle is teaching the principle of leverage. And it's in saying that if you ever going to be anything, ever increase your capacity, and ever get to the point where you are getting closer to your potential, then you're going to have to learn how to do things the opposite of the way you've been doing it. Because right now you are too defensive. All right. And you're defending a little bit of money, a little small amounts of money that you've been able to accumulate over long periods of time. And because it took you so long to get that little money, it has really messed your head up. So so now you got assets, but you're not using them because you are afraid. You're afraid you're going to lose them, but you're going to lose them if you don't use them. You're not going to lose them if you use them. You're going to lose them if you don't use them. Why? You say, I got a house right now, Brother Rick. What should I do with that? I'm like, so what do you mean? I mean, I got a house right now. It's got $500,000 worth of equity in it. Okay, so that's good for you. So that's an asset. You say, so what should I do with it, Brother Ricky? Take your money out. You say, what do I do with the money? It's a myriad of things to do with your money that you take out. All right. First of all, now you got enough money to hire somebody. Okay. Why? Because the next thing you do after you leverage what it is that you get out, after you raise capital, the next thing that you do before you start doing marketing or anything is that you hire people to do research and development. You say, how do I know that? Because research and development is more important than marketing. You say, why do you say that, Brother Ricky? Why? Because if you market and bring people to you and you don't even know what they want, you can't sell them nothing no way. All right. Or maybe you got something to sell them, but you don't have no structure to your company. So now you ain't even able to fulfill the orders because you haven't done any marketing and any research and any development of how to run a business. So the first thing I would do if I was you and I was listening to me and I was taking some counsel and committing myself to some counsel, if I was you, the first thing I would do is I would say, let me analyze my assets. All right. All right. I do have some assets. I got a 401k. I got a life insurance policy with some cash value in it. Lord have mercy, I got some little 1% bank accounts, and I got a little annuity over here. I got a CD over here. All this stuff that if I left it just sitting there, then I'm guaranteeing myself that I'm going to die poor, and everybody I love ain't going to never have no money. And basically, I'm going to be here, and financially, it's going to be like I never existed. I just came and left. All right. So we don't want that, because that's not increasing our capacity, and it's not even headed towards our potential. Are you hearing what I'm saying? Okay. So what I would do is like, let me give you some examples. Here are the world's most indebted businesses. Okay. The people who have raised the most capital. All right. Let's see here. Let's just go over Toyota. All right. Toyota is number one for 2023 in terms of who has the most debt, or who's raised the most capital. Toyota. So Toyota raised, their debt is $217 billion. Would it be $217 billion for what? For 2023. All right. However, their income was $271 billion. All right. So let's just talk about it for a second. Would you borrow $217 billion in order to be able to create $271 billion? If you would put a one in the chat, let me just see who I'm talking to. Let's see who's getting the lesson that I'm teaching you today. All right. Hurry up. Come on, so I can move to the next part. All right. Let me see a one in the chat. If you know that if you would borrow $217 billion in order to be able to produce or bring in $271 million. I'm not million, billion, 271 billion. All right. So if that's you, put a one in the chat. All right. Let me see. Okay. I hear you, Miss Victory. I see you, Brother Carpenter. All right, Ken, that makes sense. All right, Catherine, that makes sense. All right, are y'all paying attention? All right, are y'all paying attention? I'm trying to give y'all a multi-million-dollar training today for nothing, for absolutely free. Are y'all paying attention? All right, Brother Ski. All right, Brother Ski. Okay, Ryan. Okay, I hear you. All right, Dr. Kawana. All right, I hear you there. All right, Denise, that makes sense. Okay. All right, Diva. All right, Diva. All right, Day. All right. Okay, so it's not what's important is the amount coming in. It's more important than the amount coming out. The amount going out is not what's important. It's not what's most important. What's most important is the amount coming in. So for you to compound your capacity and increase it, then you need to increase your income. All right. What's coming in? It sounds like common sense, but common sense ain't so common, because people put up all kind of defense mechanisms to do what? To stymie their income. In other words, they block their income. And then they say a whole lot of churchy stuff, what God got for me is for me. Praise the Lord. I got favor. I'm like, would you stop saying all that abstract stuff? You ain't got no money. Okay. All right. And these things that you're saying about God and stuff, stop putting his name in all that mess. All right. Because that's some ignorant stuff you're saying. That stuff is not biblical, what you're saying. Those are justifiable words for your poverty, and justifiable words for your stagnation, and justifiable words to do what? Make sure that your capacity doesn't increase, because your current capacity, if it hasn't produced at least $1 million, that means that what? That it's a low capacity. All right. You have low ability, and don't let nobody come in and stroke you. Talking about, man, I got really high ability. No, your ability, a tree buys fruit. Are you hearing me? And you look just like who you are, and your bank account looks just like what it represents. So don't say things like that, because what it does is that it traps you. It traps you into doing, because words are very life-giving or very condemning, because by our words are we justified, and by our words are we condemned. So when we say things like, I'm already a millionaire, I say, well, you're not. Okay, you're not a millionaire. Stop saying I'm already a millionaire. All right. What would be more accurate to say is that, I found out a way to create $1 million in a year. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to increase my capacity. So by next year, this time, I will be a millionaire. So here's my game plan. All right. I have $200,000 in this money that's just sitting over here, ain't doing nothing. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take that $200,000, and I'm going to do just like this woman did in the book of Kings. I'm going to go ahead on and start me a business. I'm going to hire the people and put them in place, because watch what happens. Watch what she does, what Elisha tells her to do. He says, and when thou art come in, he said, go borrow a bunch of vessels. He said, not a few. to go borrow a whole bunch of vessels. He said, when thou art come in, shut the door upon thee and upon thy sons, and shout, and thy sons, and shalt pour out into all those vessels, and thou shalt set aside that which is full. Wow. So Elisha tells the woman, he says, listen, go into business, go borrow some money, and go into business. All right. Hire the people you need to hire. In your case, you got kids, so make them work. All right. You say, what are you doing? What are y'all doing for the holiday, Brother Ricky? Well, we're all here in Honolulu, Hawaii. My children, grandchildren, and what I'm teaching them, some of my children already work for me. And so I'm teaching them what they have to do to be heirs. I'm teaching them what they have to do to be successors. I'm teaching them what's required of them if they want to continue the kingdom that we're building. All right. And leaving it up to them to do what it is that they want to do, but making it very plain to them that if you're going to be, thank you, dear, that if you're going to be, inheriting anything here, if you're going to be the successor trustees here, then this is what's required of you. And if you don't do these things, then I love you, but you ain't getting no money. All right. Just God bless you, and you enjoy your life, because you will not be irresponsible around here and get nothing. Okay, you're gonna have to do your part, just like Elisha told this woman. He said, go in here, get your kids, and y'all get to work. He said, don't you go over there and start working, and you leave those kids and they run around playing and they scrolling on their phone. Yeah, they watching some Jerusalem cartoons or whatever you did. He said, don't you get down like that. He said, you make sure that they go in there with you, because y'all in all this trouble together. All right. All y'all gonna suffer if the state come and get the kids. You gonna suffer, they gonna suffer, everybody gonna be in bad. Ain't nobody gonna be enjoying their life. Everybody gonna be miserable. So that means that everybody gotta roll up their sleeves and do some work to make sure that y'all do something about it. So y'all, it's the holiday season. And some of y'all don't even have no business. We having a business meeting every day before we go do anything. You know? Why? Because I can't assume my kids understand what's going on around here. How you dig what I'm saying? Hey George, how you doing? Love you, brother. I can't assume that they not. In fact, I know they don't know. They know what they know about what they're doing with their lives, but I know they don't understand this trust business. I know they don't understand this money game. So I have to teach them. All right. And they willing to learn, willing to hear too what's going on. And that's a blessing. But I'm telling you, learn what you need to learn, increase your capacity. Your financial IQ, increase your capacity so you can do what? So you can train your kids, because you can't train nobody on what you don't know. Right? You can't pass on a capacity that you haven't acquired. Are you hearing what I'm saying? So acquire a higher capacity, and then you'll be able to pass on your capacity to your kids, and then insist that they understand that this is not a privileged, you automatically got something coming type of culture here. All right. This is a culture that we all go to work, and we all earn what it is that we get by working together. Are you dig what I'm saying? Okay. So this is what Elisha trained. This is how he trained her. And because she was committed to a counselor, because she did what? She analyzed her assets. Now she's willing to do what? Increase her income, because she was willing to do what? Go out and leverage money to increase her income, and then do what? Serve the debt. So she went ahead and did everything Elisha told her to do. And she came back, and bam, it's on and cracking. All right. Now here's a company I want you all to look up. It's called Moody. Okay. And Moody, what they do is that they evaluate people's debt. Okay, so let me read it to you. Okay, it's called Moody's debt ratio. All right, so Moody it rates debts, it rates companies, and so they gave Toyota A1 debt rating. All right, you say, what's a debt rating? So a debt rating is like rating, what's the probability that you'll pay your bills back. All right, what's that, Brother Michael? You can make money anywhere in the world doing what we do. Come to the Financial IQ Challenge, Michael, if you want to learn what's going on. And tomorrow, you can come to our free class and you can learn what's going on. So tomorrow we have a class called Bartering with the Bank, and you can barter with a bank from anywhere in the world. It's not just here in America. Excuse me. So if you want to learn those principles, go to info@stellawealthmanagement.com. I'll put it in here real quick. So write this down real quick, and you can just send me a request to come to class tomorrow. So the class is tomorrow, the 28th, and it's at 1:00 in the afternoon. And it's a free class. It's my free mastermind class on bartering with the bank. All right. So it's info@stellarwealthmanagement.com, info@stellarwealthmanagement.com. So that's how you come, all right? Everybody got that? Info@stellarwealthmanagement.com. If you want to spend a whole week with us, then you just come to our Financial IQ Challenge, and that's at myfinancialiqchallenge.com. So I'll just go to my Instagram page, and you can see anything that you want to see. All right. Okay. So this woman does everything that she's asked to do. So because she does everything that she's asked to do, y'all got a son can't be talking like, hey, he can't be talking when I'm talking. Y'all gotta take him downstairs. I'm almost done. I know he don't know no better but he can't be in the middle of the international live. You dig what I'm saying? I'm gonna put him on here and I'm gonna let him talk if he keep talking. Yeah, we're still live. Yeah, we're almost done. All right. So that's my grandson, Brady. All right. Full of energy. He like me though. He go to bed at 7 o'clock, just like I do. 7, 8 o'clock, he out. Now we was in Chicago and he couldn't go to sleep. So we was on a boat having fun, dancing, having fun and all that with the kids and the grandkids in Chicago down on Navy Pier. So Brandon couldn't go to sleep because he couldn't go to sleep. All right. So what did he do? Look, I'm not even playing him. Hey, Brandon, you can't just start blasting on music in the middle of the live, man. He 2 years. How old is Brandon? 3 years old. So he got so tired that he started dancing on the dance floor with us. He started dancing on his head. Why? Because he wasn't used to being up. It was a highlight of my summer, I'll tell you that. All right, let's move on to the next point. Okay, so my next point is that if you don't use what you got, you'll end up losing it. All right. And what I mean by that, what I'm saying is that in the 25th chapter of Matthew, we got 3 people. 2 of them doubled their money. So they increased their capacity. They doubled their capacity, their ability to be able to do something. We got to the third guy, and the third guy, he said, I went and buried your money in the ground. So God told us, he said, well, it was this third dude, because you didn't use what you got, didn't increase your capacity. He said, just take it from him and give it to the guy that's got 10 talents. Because if you don't use what you got, then you're going to lose what you have. All right. And ain't nobody ever arrived. So we don't take on the attitude that we've arrived. So the last thing I want to talk to you about is this. You know that you are close to your capacity when you know it's time for you to leave this earth. All right. Paul said, I fought the good fight. I kept the faith. He said, I finished my course. He said, I'm about to do what? He said, I'm about to actually enter into my potential, because my potential was when I'm gone. He said, I don't reach my potential until I'm gone. He said, so what? He said, you know what? I was born a Pharisee of the Pharisees. He said, I was circumcised the 8th day of the tribe of Benjamin. He said, I was a member of the Sanhedrin court. He said, I had reached, an amazing amount. I had a large capacity for being a fool. I had a large capacity for being an idiot. I had a large capacity for being a killer. I had a large capacity for being a thug. I had a large capacity for persecuting God's folk. He said, I was good at it too. He said, I was extremely skilled. He said, but you know what I did? Hey, y'all got to take him downstairs, man. Okay. Shayna, you got to take your son. You got to take him in the room for him to eat, baby. Okay. We almost done, but he playing games and all kinds. She ain't right. She's gonna leave her son here at the table while hey, Brandon, he ain't listening to me. He got on headphones. He playing Scooby Doo or something like that, right in the middle of a national. Stop laughing, Barbara. It is funny though. I guess they figured, hey, Grandpa, do you ever stop teaching people? Can we just have some fun up here in the mountains? Well, let me finish this right quick, and we got to get out of here because Brandon he went in the fight over here right now. All right, so this is what Paul said. He said, I count not myself to have apprehended, but this one thing I do. He said, I press towards the mark. In other words, my potential is on the other side of the grave. So all I want to do is just increase my capacity every day, because I'm going to leave up off this earth. And when I leave up off this earth, I want to know that every day I was better. Every day I was better. Every day I was better. I don't never think I've arrived. And I don't want any of us to have that attitude that we think we've arrived, because we have not. We are nothing but young children every day, learning more every day, increasing our capacity every day so that we can get better and better and better. And then we'll reach our potential one day, but it'll be on the other side of the grave. Ain't nobody arrived over here that'll keep us on our toes and make sure we handle God's business. Look, it's been a plum pleasing pleasure. as well as a privilege. I love you all. Ain't nothing y'all can do about that. Continue to enjoy y'all amazing holiday. Be blessed in the city. Be blessed in the field. And remember that stellar is as stellar does. Happy holidays. Get on out here today and increase your potential, okay? Increase your capacity. God bless you. God bless.